What's up, everybody?
Hi.
How's it going?
We are.
We're the Williams, and we're
Yes.
and we're back again with another edition of
Love.
Love Unscripted. This might be a quick video today.
Because drum roll.
Drum roll, please. Today is my wife's birthday.
Ooh, this is the point where balloons should fall from the ceiling, streamers.
They're imaginary balloons.
Everywhere. Yes, today is my birthday.
Oh, you don't want to tell them?
44th birthday.
40. This is what 44 look like, y'all. You. Oh, man. So, happy birthday
Thank you, baby.
to my lovely wife,
Thank you.
Ramona Williams.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm Wilbert Williams.
Yes, you are.
And we're here with a topic that, it may be, kind of hit around where some of the things you've encountered. But today's title is called I'm Not Your Child, I'm Your Spouse. Yeah.
Want to hop into it quickly?
Yeah, let's go.
So I'm just going to set the scene really quickly as to how this topic came to be. So we were eating breakfast the other day, or I just finished cooking breakfast for my husband. I was going to have a smoothie because I'm trying to do some situations with my weight situation. But anyway, and so he's sitting down eating, and I know the food just finished cooking and it's hot, right? I'm like, babe, you have to pull the food, it's hot, right? And so, and I'm sure some of you can relate to that. Here I am, his wife, making a comment as if I am his mother, right? Didn't that sound like that's something that you would tell your child, like, hey, the food is hot, make sure you blow it. Make sure you blow it before you put it in your mouth. Now, let me tell you this is not the first time. This is not the first time that I've had to tell my husband, babe, it's hot, blow it. Or, babe, taste this, right? It's steaming hot from the pot. It's coming to his lips. I'm thinking he's going to blow it, and he just opens up his mouth like he's going to put it, like, babe, blow it first.
We cool it off in our mouth. We don't blow.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it in the country anyway.
Lips are all burnt up, whatever. And so then my husband had the idea of, the topic.
I'm not your child. I'm your spouse.
Not your child?
We find ourselves on occasions, how we police each other and kind of as though we are parenting each other. It's both sides, okay? It might be, hey, are you sure about this? Or you don't need to be going there, or be careful, or let me know where you are. That's the kind of things you really do tell like a teenager that's going out for the first time, hanging out with friends, who the friends and who are their parents, that kind of stuff. You say those kind of things to a teenager, and we find ourselves saying it to each other. And I don't think we mean it in a bad way, but we have to keep in mind this is our spouse. We married a grown man, a grown woman who, for the most part, for the total part, let me take that most part, total part understands the masses. Does that make sense?
No, what do you mean by masses?
Well, the public understands understands, this is how I was raised. This is how I've grown up. I've grown outside of needing to be babied.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Right. But you made a really good point about this is what you would say as a parent to a teenager who may be experiencing things either for the first time or just experiencing things that, you're letting them know, hey, I have some experience in this area. Be careful, right? But when you think about it, what is the intention behind you telling your child, whether you're the mother or the father, that, hey, be careful. Hey, make sure you X, Y, and Z. Pay attention to, this when you're doing, or, blow your food before you put it in your mouth, because A, you've been there, you've done that,
Mm-hmm.
you have experience. B, you're doing it out of love. You're doing it out of protection.
This is true.
Right? You're doing it, and especially if you're a woman, I think you do it out of nurturing. It is who you are to the core as a woman, to be nurturing, right? And I have to say, like, and I'm sure it would be the same way for him towards me. I don't want one thing to happen to him. I don't want anything to happen to him that's going to cause him any type of discomfort. Right? Now, I know I might mess up and cause him discomfort sometimes.
She's so real.
Might make him mad, or, whatever. But at the end of the day, I want him to be happy to his fullest, 100% of the time, 24/7, 365 days. And if I can do or say anything that will help to, manifest that in his life, then that's what I want to do. So
we just talked about protection, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's nurturing. It's genuine.
Ooh.
We want to see each other safe.
Yeah.
We want the best for each other.
Mm-hmm.
As spouses. But there is, those times where when you're asked, "Hey, did you brush your teeth?" or "Did you put on deodorant?"
What are you talking about? To your spouse or to your kid?
So things that you would say to your kids.
Okay.
that you might say to your spouse. Did you hey, that shirt's too wrinkled. Do something with that shirt. Or why are you putting on those pants? Because those pants they look wrinkled. Some you would say. I guess you say either one to your kid or your spouse, but you want your child to go out looking their best, right? Presenting their best. But sometimes as kids, you just want to put on something and go and have fun, right? You just want to put on something and just go and move around, go and be be a young man, or you don't want to have to think about it, before you put it on. I'm from the country. I just grab stuff straight out of the closet. I'm just telling you. And I just throw it on. Now, if I was trying to dress up to go somewhere, that's different.
Even when you try to dress up, go somewhere, hey, put this on.
So, so you keep in mind that those things are, they're nurturing.
Yeah.
But we have to also remember that's our spouse.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that we are careful not to be overbearing, too overseeing, too overprotected. But you do it. I understand we do it in a loving way, and it's because of love that we do these things.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind, they're your spouse. I want my wife to feel like a woman. Know she's a woman. Know she's loved. Know she's adored, because she's all woman. And the same should go for the wife to the husband. You should make sure that your husband knows he's in a role. He's a king. She's a queen. Mm-hmm. Grown folk. That's what we say, right?
Yeah, that's what we say.
And that's the way we should look at, our concern for them as, she's grown or he's grown, and talk to them in a fashion where it's not making them feel like you're talking to a kid.
So I'm glad that you just made that statement, talking to them, because so here we get into the space of experience, right?
Come on.
What type of experience has my husband had, have I had, that may make me or make him communicate in such a way that would make you feel, or make that person feel like, hey, like I'm grown. I know to blow my food, or I'm willing to take the risk, and so. In that, because we have different experiences and just different thought processes, then you have to. I think it's worth having even a conversation about it. I think almost everything that we talk about goes back to communication, right? So let's just say, I had that moment where I told my husband, "Hey, babe, blow the food. It's hot, And inside of him, it could have irked him to his core. But let's say he never said anything. Then I wouldn't even know if what I said to him, because I'm thinking I'm Mama Bear, I'm nurturing to him as a loving spouse, and to him, he could have been in his brain saying, "Look, you were my spouse and not my parent, or I am not your child.
That's a
You
good
are my
point.
spouse." And so I think it's two parts here. It's important for you to monitor how you do. Let me not say you. It's important for me to monitor how I talk and communicate to my husband when I feel like I'm being nurturing. Because to me, it could be nurturing. To him, it could be nagging. To him, it could
Oh,
be
that's a
me,
good point.
doing my finger, like I am a parent figure towards him. And so, and for him to be able to, if it does happen, to be able to speak up and say, "Hey, babe, this is how that makes me feel. I get it. I know your intentions. Your intentions are to love me to the ends of the earth and make sure I'm always happy and make sure nothing happens to me. But in that moment, it made me feel X, Y, and Z. Light bulb moment comes on for me. Okay, Ramona, keep that in mind. Next time, this is how, or even have that question to pose a question to him.
Right.
Hey, babe, so how do you want me to, address it whenever I feel like it's something that you could potentially do that,
Mm-hmm.
might not be in your best interest? And I know we're bringing up something small, but sometimes it is something that could be on a larger scale or whatever. What does that look like? So I think it's important to have those moments of communication, dialogue room, so you
Absolutely.
can figure that out.
You think about times where, you may have sat down at the table and forgot to wash your hands, and your spouse may say, "Did you wash your hands?" And you're ready to eat. Your mind is set on, man, this food looks really good. You got your fork in your hand. You got drink on the side, and you're ready to dig in. And did you wash your hands? And so you yourself, you're thinking, do I, stay here and wash my hands? Because now you're already in place. Now you're ready. Your next thought is, I'm going to enjoy this meal. But now you got to work through. She just told me, or he just told me, to go wash my hands. Now, is that not something that you would say to a child? Yeah, it is. Because in most cases, children go through and they just immediately go right to eating, and forget about all the other. So it's one of those things where I believe that sometimes habits grow up with you.
Yeah, yeah.
And you guys know out there they do. Habits just grow up with you. I still like cartoons. I mean, I watch all my hero stuff. I just putting it out there. But habits grow up with you, and that's a habit that I had as a child. Enjoyed it, still enjoy it. Those things follow you. They are traits that you have. You remember, it's okay to have. I guess what I'm saying is, it's okay to be a kid on the inside, because sometimes you got to be able to loosen up. You got to be able to not be so tense. You got to be able to not take things so seriously. I'm going on a different
And I was just
venture,
about to say
venture,
that.
venture. But at the same time, we've got to keep in mind that our spouses are our spouses. They're adults, and we need to speak in such a term where it's proficient for an adult, and not make them feel beneath you, or feel less than, or feel that they um, have to feel like they're being fathered or mothered. It's but you do want them to feel love. You do want them to feel nurtured. You do want them to feel cared for. I guess it's a thin line between being to being too overbearing in that aspect, or not enough. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and you took the words right out of my mouth. It's a thin line. It's a thin line. I think something healthy to do is to know your spouse, know their intentions, right? And then be able to have a conversation about it and practice it.
Yeah.
It's okay. We are human. We won't get it right the first time, the second time, the third
Come
time.
on.
Sometimes, no telling. But as long as you are practicing and you were you have the best intentions in mind and you stay in communication with your spouse. I think those things are necessary. And the other thing to think about this. Ooh, let me get it out, Lord. Think about think about this. You could have a spouse who didn't care, who didn't want to say, "Hey, babe, blow the food before you put it in your mouth." Like serve you piping hot food, and like I wish he would just.
I mean,
you know, there could be the opposite of that love and nurturing that your spouse could have.
Some people may enjoy that. Some people may not. You know, that's why we're talking about this in this edition of Love Unscripted. It's one of those things that happen.
Yeah.
It occurs, and we just bring it to the forefront to every marriage, every couple, every husband and wife that's out there. We all have those moments.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing to talk about it. You got to be willing to discuss it. You got to be willing to open up and be honest. You know, I've talked about that in the last video. Honest, because how will we know?
How will you know?
Wives are not mind readers. Husbands are not mind readers. You have to talk.
Yeah.
And don't bear those feelings to yourself. Talk about them. Mm-hmm. And I assure you that once that conversation has begun, you'll grow.
Yeah.
You'll grow up, and you'll grow together.
Because
you're no longer two, but you are one.
I like our one.
Yeah. I love it. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome.
So, we speak into your life in abundance of communication, an abundance of intentions that are grounded in love.
Beautiful.
And in happiness. Like, if you could imagine for yourself the highest extent of happiness, joy, overflowing grace and mercy and favor, and speak that same thing and will that same thing for your spouse, I hope that you're able to put yourself in a position to do that, both you as the husband, and you as the wife, and be able to do that and communicate.
Yes.
And know when things like this come up and you have situations where, like, hey, I am your spouse and I'm not your child. Mm-hmm. Know that in my mind, I am going to think the highest, best intention that you have for me. And I'm going to staple that to that moment, and not allow anything other than the good to come out of it. And like I said, give yourself practice, give each other grace, and I think it will develop into some very, very beautiful moments of growth.
Oh, that was awesome, babe. So approach your wives as queens, and approach your husbands as kings. And we say, hope to you all, blessings to you all. You're no longer two, but you are one. Love you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You better sing that birthday song like that. Y'all, we're about to go out here and try to brave the mosquitoes and eat some birthday cheesecake.
Yes.
So pray for us. Love you guys.
Enjoyed you.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye-bye.